What's up guys, Doomsday here. Today we're back again, and in this video we're going to be playing some Wukong in the jungle. So thought I'd play some Wukong a bit more to climb, and in this match specifically, the main reason why I picked Wukong is just because my team kind of lacked a tanky front line, and Wukong is a solid choice to provide good crowd control and also provide a bit of tank for your team. So my favorite junglers to pick to act as tanks are sort of like Wukong and Jarvan are probably my favorite picks. And then Jun Zhao is also pretty solid and gets relatively tanky. But to start off, gonna do the normal clear. And Wukong really is kind of just like my favorite jungler to climb up with. And when I made my push to Grandmaster, actually, Wukong was the champ that I played the most for sure a couple seasons back. I think I got up to like top 20 or something with them. But overall, he's just a super well-rounded champ, which is really the main reason why I did want to play him a bit more. But now, looking at these lane matchups and deciding which scuttle to go for, something that I noticed is this top lane matchup over here is a Draven versus a Darius, and that's a really big range advantage to the Draven, plus Draven is pretty impressive in the early game. So I actually decided that I want to go for that scuttle on the top side of the map. That way if a fight does happen, that this Draven can help me out, but the Draven actually picks up the kill pretty early. But now notice what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if Nunu shows up here. And that's really key because I know if Nunu shows up, which he just did on the map over there, now that Nunu showed up on the top side, I know Nunu has only cleared their red side jungle. So look, they've only cleared their red side and they haven't even gone to the blue side jungle yet. So that tells me a good amount about their rotation, but now I see Nunu's going for the scuttle too, but notice what I'm going to do to the scuttle here. I'm going to make the scuttle run away from Nunu. So notice how the scuttle always runs away from you. So now I'm leading it towards the top side. That way if Nunu tries to come from behind me, they won't be able to get to it in time. And we can actually see that that completely pays off, as by the time Nunu gets here, they can't do anything. Plus, I've been pinging my teammates this entire time, and especially this Ahri. So now Ahri finally rotates and able to go into this Nunu. Ahri misses all their abilities, but it's okay. We're still able to pick that up. But now, looks like they have the numbers. So trying to reposition and get my abilities back off cooldown. Ahri lands a fantastic charm and able to pick up that kill there. So now, sadly not able to pick up the auction, but now that I cleared that top side scuttle, I actually know this bottom scuttle is still there, so I'm heading down there, and I'm actually getting a recall in, and the main reason for that is Nunu, once I kill him, he's going to shop, so if we both go to the scuttle right away, I'm not going to have a shop, and he's going to have a shop. So I really had to reset there just to get some items so I can match up to him in case another fight happens. And it wasn't worth it just running straight there because that'd be a really risky fight and I'm behind on items and damage. So now rotate here. I see Nunu's starting to go on to. I'm pinging my teammates again to rotate. I'm pinging this Ahri especially. And unfortunately he gets the smite. I'm waiting for this Ahri to rotate, and Ahri definitely could have rotated, but they were kind of just doing their own thing in mid lane. If they would have rotated there, that would have been huge. But now I'm just farming up my jungle, and a really key thing that I'm looking for now is actually I have my ultimate and I'm looking for a gank on this duo lane. That's another thing that you can plan in advance. So earlier on, I was level 4 when I recalled, so I knew once I take another camp or something, I'd reach level 5, and now I'm looking for a gank on this bottom side over here. Now, I really have no idea what this Ahri is doing. They're kind of mispositioned, but let's see if they get out of that alive. But I have my ultimate. Looks like they're starting to collapse onto the Ahri, and looks like Ahri was just able to ultimate out. They kind of had to waste their ultimate for that, but now this Nunu's going for the engage. I wait for them to engage, and right when they engage, I pop out. So now able to get a 3-man knock-up. They're all super low. Ooh, barely able to pick up that Kaisa. And I live with literally just like 1 HP. That was really nice. But against a Nunu, something that I really want to point out is, especially in the early game scuttle fights, Nunu doesn't have a lot of damage. That's just how Nunu works in the early game, is they really aren't that tanky and they don't have a lot of damage. They have a bit of burst damage, but after they use up their burst and their abilities, their auto attacks essentially do nothing. So they really rely on their teammates to make up for them, and they really are looking to just put down the crowd control themselves and then have their teammates follow up. So if you can get the rotate advantage, that's really, really key. It's over there now. Able to pick up the Nunu here, and now trying to get out of this. And I'm able to. So that's good now. And the reason why I actually went to top side, and I actually didn't cover this fast enough, but the objectives did spawn, but the reason why I actually went to the top side and looked for a gank or something up there is because I don't have my ultimate off cooldown, and that means I really don't want to go for a big team fight. And I know by going to the dragon, that's going to end up in a large team fight, and I really don't want that right now. I'm essentially just stalling until I get my ultimate back off cooldown, and I finally come back off cooldown, so now I'm heading back towards the dragon and looking to fight this. But going back to having the teammate, having the rotate advantage, that's really key in the early game. As we saw in both the scuttle fights, this Ahri was able to rotate, or in one scuttle fight, the first one, the Ahri was able to rotate and we were able to kill the Nunu for the first blood at the first scuttle. And that's really key because noticing where your teammates are positioned in the lane, and if a fight breaks out in the river, you really have to notice who's going to be able to rotate first. And now I see the Nunu there. Now I'm really want to just take this dragon, and the reason for that is Nunu can actually out-secure a dragon from pretty much anybody. So I would have rather have just bursted this down, because if Nunu comes here, and Nunu does come here, you can see I don't stay on the dragon anymore because I know he outsmites me. And instead, I just look to try and kill the Nunu and force him to panic and use the smite for health early on, and then we're able to pick that up. Because Nunu's first ability plus a smite can just completely burst down dragons, and there's no way I can out-secure that or outsmite it. So now I'm farming back up. Essentially, I can't really do any big ganks anymore because I don't have my ultimate, so really just looking to take some jungle, get some shops in until I can find something good. Now, the Herald is up, but again, I'm not the most interested in that right now. I really don't want to fight that, but looks like they're already going up there, so I start to head in that direction too. But in this fight, I don't have my ultimate, which is pretty unfortunate. So you can see I can't really get a good engagement without my ultimate. I don't have enough burst damage or crowd control, and yep. Instead, I just decide to just look for a play on this opposite side of the map. So now I know that they're probably on the Herald, which is okay. So instead, I'm looking to make a play on the opposite side of the map and maybe try and get this turret down here, or at least one kill. So now, able to pick up this Kaisa here, and that's good. Get some good burst damage onto Soraka now. Now I'm looking to push down this first turret, and that's really huge because first turret is worth a lot of gold. It's worth like 1,000 gold for your team. I think 1,000 gold plus the gold from the plates and everything. So that's going to be a pretty big gold swing into our favor. And although they did get the Herald, or actually that wasn't first turret. It looks like somebody else got first turret in top lane first. But that's okay. We still got a turret and a lot of gold from it. But you get the idea. Pretty much, I don't have my ultimate, so I can't really contest that at the Herald. So instead, I just look for a play on the opposite side of the map. And a kill plus a turret, that's a decent trade for Herald. Like, that's okay. For a Herald fight that we probably would have lost if I did try and force that. So, Wukong is really ultimate dependent, and that's the thing about him, is without your ultimate, you definitely don't stand out as a champ at all. So having your ultimate up for big fights is really, really key. So now I see that they're all super low, actually. Looks like Lux... Oh, that was a really nice Ashe arrow, actually. Looks like Lux and Ashe landed some really nice poke onto him. So now I'm able to get onto this auction, quickly burst him down. Now for this match, I did go Trinity Force, and Trinity Force or Black Cleaver are both solid first item options. So Black Cleaver is definitely the better choice if the enemy has a lot of tanks. So if they have like a Garen, Alistair, Renekton, those types of champs that are just tanky bruiser types, Black Cleaver will do better into those. But into squishies, Trinity Force will probably provide more damage. Now, small mistake that I made was that I didn't max my first ability first. Instead, I maxed my third ability. And I really should have maxed my first ability first, in my opinion, just because maxing out your first ability in combination with Trinity Force provides so much damage with your first ability. Like, it's crazy the amount of damage that it does, especially once you get a bit ahead. So now, just farming up, looking to take this blue buff, and taking the blue buff is pretty important because you might run into mana problems as Wukong. Eventually, once you start spamming a bunch of abilities, your mana will start to run down, so it's pretty nice to have blue buff on you. Can be very helpful, but see something's going on in that bottom side over there. So actually, I decided to go for this top side turret, and the reason for that is, notice, everybody's missing on the map, and I know somebody's going to come to defend this turret, actually. So I see this auction here, I see them use their swing, and now I'm looking to engage here, get some good burst damage. They use some of their summoner spells, and Waiting for this Lux to try and engage, but this Lux unfortunately did not land literally a single one of their... They landed pretty much no damage at all. That was very unfortunate, but now I'm hanging back, seeing if maybe this Lux can bait him back. And thankfully they are, and we're able to pick up that kill, but that definitely wasn't the most clean dive. That could have gone so much better. Yeah, if Lux would have been in better position, if they would have followed up better, we definitely would not have had all those problems. Really what Lux should have done is Lux should have waited for me to dive and use my ultimate, and then while the enemy is knocked up, then they could have landed their root. Because landing the root as Lux can sometimes be a bit hard, but if I knock them up, then they're going to be stuck in that place for a solid second or so. So then Lux can easily land that root in the time frame. I mean, if they land their root, then they could just follow up with their ultimate too, and they would just get bursted down 100 to 0 pretty much. And chaining crowd controls like that is pretty important. So over here now, I don't have my ultimate again, but if you look at mid lane, we have that pretty far pushed up, and it looks like they just want that Lux instead, so I'm willing to trade the Lux for the dragon. That's definitely fine with me. But now we secured that too, and looking for another fight. Now, we only have 3 people here is the big thing. That's a good charm there. This is a 3v5 over here. Land a good ultimate. And now I'm looking to get onto the backline squishes over here. Land another good knockup. Sadly, I got my Guardian Angel popped, but it looks like my team is winning this. And somehow that hit me. Oh, that's so unfortunate. If that didn't hit me, that would have been a quadra kill there, at least. That's so unfortunate. I thought I was out of range of that Nunu ultimate, but sadly, I was just barely into it. It looked like I was out of range of it, and I ran out of mana here, so I wasn't able to pick up the kill then. I didn't have enough mana to use my third ability. That was kind of unfortunate. But if you're enjoying this content and you're learning something new, do make sure to like and subscribe. And I finally got finished with midterms. Now, I know I took like a week break from uploading. That's just because I was super busy, but now I'm finally getting back into it. Hopefully going to be pumping out more gameplay, climbing up to Grandmasters again, maybe even trying to push to Challenger, depending on how the season goes. But yeah, now that I have more time, I can finally grind a bit more, which is solid. But now, able to get this Herald here. That's so good, Ash Arrow there. Ash Arrow is so strong when Ash gets ahead. Like, Ash Arrow can come in clutch so much. But now, just pushing up waves. See that Nunu there. That's a good charm by Ahri. And that's something to actually really pay attention to when you're playing with an Ahri, or when you're playing with any kind of like mage or like range type of champs, is playing around their abilities. So for instance, playing around the Asher or playing around the Ahri charm. You don't always have to be the one to engage. So like, you can sit back for a second and wait for your carries to do their job. And if you give them time, hopefully they'll land their charm, they'll land their crowd control or slows or whatever, and then you can follow up. Over here now, they kind of chasing me all the way. Was definitely not expecting them to do that. I'm trying to round this corner so that the Nunu snowball doesn't hit me, but unfortunately it does. Let's see if I'm able to pick up that kill. Ooh, looks like we're able to pick them both up, but I do go down there. But that's still a good trade. We were able to get 2 inhibs because they wanted to chase me all the way across the map. Ruined my KDA though, quite unfortunately. But yeah. Also, if you're looking for a good Discord server to join, there's a link in the description to my Discord server. It's pretty active. There are people always looking to play. A lot of people around Emerald, Diamond tier, some Platinums too that are always looking to party up. Because it definitely is fun to play with friends. And that's probably actually my favorite part of the game is just playing with friends. But, oh, it actually surrendered. Dang, that's unfortunate. But I hope you all enjoyed this gameplay. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below. And I guess that's going to be it for this video. I'll see y'all in the next video.